There are places in the world most people will never enter, highly protected, carefully controlled, guarded by layers of security. Inside these spaces is something incredibly valuable. Not gold, not artifacts, but something far more powerful: information. Today, we call these places data centers. But thousands of years ago, humanity built structures that served a surprisingly similar purpose. They were called temples. Welcome back to Relics Reborn, a series exploring the hidden connections between the ancient mystical systems and the technologies of the modern world. So far, we've explored how black mirrors resemble modern televisions, oracle stones reflect the role of smartphones, sigils echo through corporate logos, and crystal balls mirror camera lenses. But today's connection goes beyond objects because some of the most advanced buildings in the modern world may be fulfilling the same role as some of the most sacred structures in history. In ancient civilizations, temples were not just places of worship, they were centers of knowledge, power, and connection. Priests and scholars would gather inside these sacred spaces to preserve important information, perform rituals, interpret signs and messages, connect with what they believed to be higher intelligence. Access to these spaces were often limited. Not everyone could enter. Not everyone could understand what happened inside. Temples were designed to protect and contain knowledge. Now, fast forward to the modern world. There are buildings scattered across the planet that most people will never see the inside of. Windowless structures, constantly monitored, filled with rows of machines. These are data centers. Inside them exists something incredibly valuable: the internet, global communication, financial systems, personal data, and human knowledge. They store and process the information that powers modern life. Without them, much of the world would simply stop. There's a striking similarity between temples and data centers. Access is restricted. In ancient times, only priests or initiates could enter the inner parts of a temple. They were the intermediaries between the public and the sacred knowledge inside. Today, only engineers, technicians, and authorized personnel can enter data centers. They maintain the systems that store and process information for everyone else. In both cases, a small group of individuals is responsible for maintaining access to something larger than themselves. Temples were often seen as places where human world connected with something greater, a higher intelligence, a divine presence, a source of truth. Now think about how people interact with modern technology. When someone searches for information, they're tapping into a vast invisible network. Answers appear almost instantly. Guidance, knowledge, communication all flow from systems most people don't fully understand. In a way, data centers act as the core of a global system of knowledge, a place where information is stored, processed, and distributed. Not spiritual in the traditional sense, but still powerful enough to shape how people think, act, and understand the world. Even the design tells a story. Ancient temples were often built to inspire awe. Massive structures, precise alignment, symbolic design. They made people feel like they were entering something important. Data centers were different in appearance, but similar in intention. They are built for protection, stability, and control. Inside them, everything is carefully organized, monitored, and maintained because what they contain is too important to lose. So the next time you think about the internet or the systems that we store the world's knowledge, consider this. Thousands of years ago, humans built temples to protect and access what they believed was sacred knowledge. Today, we build data centers to store and manage the information that powers our world. Different structures, different beliefs, but similar purpose: to house, protect, and control access to something powerful. This has been Relics Reborn, and in the next episode, we'll explore another hidden connection: why notification sounds and alerts might be the modern evolution of ancient bells, horns, and ritual signals, because even the smallest details of modern life may have ancient origins.